To see the surprising New England Patriots face the Miami Dolphins. A 1-15 record and a public relations nightmare accurately defined the Patriots of 1990. Desperate to restore morale and respect, they turned to a man of homespun values.
What we really need to do was to get them believing in themselves again as human beings and as football players.
I think what he's brought here is a new spirit and a young spirit. You can kind of call it that college spirit.
His approach to football is really the tonic the team needed.
Let's believe in ourselves, and the only way you can really believe in yourself is to win.
He's on the right track. He's leading us in the right way, and we're very receptive to it.
The Miami Dolphins had hoped they would be a threat to Buffalo in the AFC East this year. As it stands right now, though, they need a win just to reach 500 and catch the Jets. The Patriots have been a major surprise because they've been very competitive all year long. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick, and it's great to have you with us. To understand what kind of a turnaround Dick McPherson has engineered in New England, all you have to do is go back to last year. This team couldn't score. It won just once. It had a 14-game losing streak, and every time you turned around, there was another off-the-field horror show. And Joe Theismann, what Dick McPherson has been able to do is give this team back its self-respect.
Mike, not only self-respect, but he's also brought a lot of enthusiasm, and he's made football fun again. And the only way football is fun is if you win. Dick McPherson told us yesterday, we're tired of having a football team that's coming close and being competitive. They must win. And the way they're going to win is they got to keep Dan Marino off the field. They have to run the ball with Leonard Russell, who last week had his first 100-yard rushing game. And they have to impress upon Hugh Millen, don't make the big mistake.
Now, Miami was 12-4 a year ago. After that, the Dolphins said their only goal was the Super Bowl. Well, they're 4-5 right now, and 4-5 does not have a Super Bowl ring to it. It's time to put up or shut up.
You're absolutely right. When it comes to putting up, the offense is the part of the football team that's going to have to put up. They've had uncharacteristic fumbles and drop passes throughout the early part of this season. They've been sacked 15 times. Dan Marino last year was sacked a total of 15 times. Through this half of the season, they've given up 15 sacks. And in the past, when the Miami Dolphins have gotten themselves in trouble and they've needed a good football game, they've asked Dan Marino to do it with his offense. Tonight, look for Dan Marino to throw the football.
Don Shula in the 29th year of his legendary career. Only George Halas remains ahead of him on the list of all-time winners. And Dick McPherson, 3-6 in his first year as an NFL head coach, the opportunity of a lifetime, and he waited nearly a lifetime to get the opportunity. These teams met earlier this year in Week 6, in fact, and the Dolphins prevailed 20-10 over the Patriots. E.J. Jr. with 4 sacks in that game, a career high, and the only 4 sacks he had during this year. Pete Stoyanovich will kick it away. And New England will receive the opening kickoff. John Bond, the rookie out of Michigan, will keep it in the end zone. And now for tonight's McLean Deluxe starting lineups. Hugh Millen, the Patriots quarterback, after winning the job from Tommy Hodson. He has struggled, though, 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Rookie Leonard Russell has been everything the club hoped for. 5th in the AFC in rushing and coming off a 106-yard day against Buffalo. Up front, Bruce Armstrong, a Pro Bowler, by far their best. The 5-year veteran is one of the game's best pass blockers. Russell on 1st and 10. Only gets a couple. The Dolphins' defense, lack of a pass rush, has hurt. This year, Jeff Cross has only 3 sacks after 21.5 the last 2 years. At linebacker, because of injuries, David Griggs is the only starter back from a year ago. Good against the run, Griggs leads the linebackers in tackles. And safety Lewis Oliver leads in tackles. The coaches want him to go after the ball more. He has responded with 4 interceptions. 2nd down and 8. Russell and Ivy Joe Hunter in the eye. Millen with his first toss. McMurtry makes the catch, driven out of bounds near 1st down territory.
You know, that's a good decision to make when you want to get your quarterback involved. Now, Hugh Millen, he's interesting. He's been in the league 4 years, and when we talked to him yesterday, he said very plainly, I feel like a veteran in the classrooms and the meeting rooms, but when it comes to being on the field, I feel like a rookie. If a guy feels that way, you throw a little hitch pattern out to a wide receiver, let him get a little confidence and go with it.
It is a 1st down for the Patriots. Russell coming off a 106-yard day, hit in the backfield and taken down. Jarvis Williams, the strong safety, was up in a hurry.
Jarvis Williams does an excellent job. Ivy Joe Hunter comes up to take him on. Now, on the first play from scrimmage, he was up around the line of scrimmage trying to make a play. When you get a safety up that close to the line of scrimmage making tackles, the things start ticking in your mind. Little play action, maybe we can get up top on him.
Russell can run inside as well as outside. Big kid, 6'2", 235. On 2nd and 9, Russell will try it again. Stuck as he reached the 35-yard line. Brian Cox, the rookie, and Lewis Oliver, the free safety, came up and drilled him after a gain of 4.
Interesting talking to Lewis Russell. He said, or Leonard Russell, excuse me. He said, you know, I looked at 16 games. I figured, heck, you could gain 1,000 yards, no problem. He didn't realize how tough it was just gaining 100 like he did last week.
He is playing with very sore ribs. They've been sore for about 3 weeks. Gets it on the draw. Needs to get just past the 40 for the 1st down, and they will mark it just past the 40. David Griggs out of Virginia made the stop, along with E.J. Jr.
That is not what the Miami Dolphins want to see. They do not want to see Leonard Russell running at them all night right up the middle of the football field. They've got to continue to stop them like they did earlier in the drive.
Well, if you have a quarterback like Millen, who has 2 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions and has been sacked 23 times, you want to see him back in the pocket. 1st down by an inch.
I knew that.
Yeah, but you didn't call.
Of course not. I've been wrong too much. Number 54, E.J. Jr. in the middle, comes up. Now, you see the offensive line get out on the linebackers. That's the key to running the ball up the middle. You're going to play a 3-4 defense. You get the guards out on the linebackers, let the back pick where he wants to go.
Blocked was by Danny Villa, who just returned to the lineup after being on IR. Millen play action this time. Can't find anybody. And Millen slides down at the 49-yard line. Griggs was over there to cover him in a hurry.
When you're Marv Cook and you've got 45 receptions, the Dolphins figure, heck, he might be a big guy they might look to. So they not only have Cox hit him, knock him down, they look for him, they hunt him up coming across the field. You look at all the attention he attracts. He went by 5 Dolphins that paid attention to where he was.
Has 45 catches coming in, number 1 in the conference. 2nd and 2 as Millen gained 8, and Russell going for the 1st down and has it into Miami territory for the 1st time. Well, this is what the Patriots want to do. Keep Marino off the field, control the ball, run it, and eventually score. It doesn't do any good to control it if you can't score.
It looks like a game plan. I mean, it looks the way when you sit down and you say, how can we do this? What's the thing? The Dolphins haven't been good against the run. Let's run the football. That'll set up the play action. That's when an offense is dictating to a defense, when they start throwing in a few play action passes.
1st and 10. There's the play action. Millen with a pump fake and goes long. Fryer off his fingertips at the goal line. You called it. The play action will set up the bomb.
What they try and do is they just wanted to get to this part of the field. This is where coaches like to take shots. They don't feel like they can get hurt. He'll come down, run a little hesitation, then take right off. Even though it's double zone, you expect to get the safeties to bite and come up. Little play action pass. They've been up around the line of scrimmage. He stops, hesitates, takes off, does a good job of getting inside. Ball's just a little bit overthrown, but you have to take those chances.
2nd and 10. Millen throws. This time it's his tight end, Marv Cook. And the 3-year man out of Iowa brought down by Cliff Odom, but not before he gets inside the 35 for another 1st down.
The Patriots are going to try and find a way to get the ball to Marv Cook. And when he's got 45 receptions, that means that a quarterback has confidence in him. And when you start a ball game as a quarterback, you look to the guys you have confidence in first.
They do not throw to their backs very much. Fryer, McMurtry, and Cook with most of the catches. Keep it on the ground. T.J. Turner makes the tackle on Hunter. Gain of a couple.
That's a gimme. You know, that's we call it a crumb. They give the fullback a crumb. Because, see, if you don't give him the ball at least once or twice, 3 times a game, he winds up getting all upset and say, geez, you know, all I ever do is block. Tommy Olivedati, the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins, did a fantastic job last year. This year, he really didn't have a lot of players to work with. A lot of them were out of camp.
And he lost Offerdahl and Grimsley, who were slated to be the inside linebackers with injuries. Russell, reverse. Timpson being chased by Griggs. Got him. That's Jeff Cross. Great hustle by a guy who is 272 pounds, chasing down Timpson at 175.
What really makes this play, though, is Brian Cox. You'll see him come in from the right side. On the right side, he'll force it and force the reverse to go much deeper than it should have. Watch the right side of your screen. There's a little flip back. See how far he makes him go back? Timpson has to go 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Excellent job at the point of attack.
12th play of the drive, but it's 3rd and 13. Millen throws complete. Ball comes loose. Patriots get it back at the 26-yard line, but it is short of a 1st down. Bobby Harden knocked the ball loose, and here comes the field goal team.
That's okay. You know, to me, I think that's smart football. If you don't have the 1st down area available, come underneath, get the completion, give yourself and the team a positive aspect would be to come away with 3 points. It's something positive. When you're as young as the Pats are, you got to build on that.
And the first test for the new kicker, Charlie Bauman, signed because Jason Starowski is out with a quad injury. 44-yard field goal. Plenty of distance, and it's good. And Coach Mack said if Bauman comes in and makes all his kicks, Starowski may take a long time to get well. It's 3-0 Patriots. Cell, Scoop, Sonata, and brand new Elantra. By ITT Hartford. When you need us most, we're at our best. And by Panasonic, helping to train America's Olympic athletes. 3-0 New England over Miami. First quarter, the Dolphins have not had the football yet. And Charlie Bauman set to kick off. Kicks the 44-yard field goal. Played the first 2 games of the year for the Miami Dolphins. Mark Logan and Aaron Craver are deep. Craver at the 5. Across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. We've got a timeout on the field. 7:40 to go first half. So far, 44-yard field goal celebrating on the sideline, and the scoring drive. An outstanding one for the New England Patriots. They did what they wanted to do in terms of taking time off the clock and controlling the ball. 7 minutes, 11 seconds, 13 plays. Here come the Dolphins. Smith and Page, the running backs behind Dan Marino. Tipped into the eye. And Marino to throw. Has it batted down at the line of scrimmage. Knocked down by Ray Agnew. Take a look at that Miami offense. The quarterback, of course, Marino, the most durable signal caller in the NFL. His rating is down this year. Number 7 in the AFC, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Mark Duper still a big part of a dangerous passing attack. He needs only a yard to break Nat Moore's record as the Dolphins' yardage leader. Richmond Webb still not 100% after a preseason knee injury, but promises to become the Anthony Munoz of the 90s. 2nd and 10. Four-man rush. Page out of the backfield has the first down up to the 34-yard line. And New England front 7 has done a good job this year against the run. Noseman Tim Goat has 8 tackles. They came in the first Miami game. And linebacker Vincent Brown has become a star. He's the team's leading tackler by far. The coaches say he had 23 in a brilliant game against Buffalo. The secondary lacks speed. Veteran Ronnie Lepet has the best career credentials, but is not the player he was in the 80s. And they are also missing Fred Marion, the free safety tonight, snapping his streak of 101 straight starts. Smith behind Page. First man to hit him, Eugene, the hitting machine, Lockhart. They picked up from the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, on offense, Mike, the Dolphins have really struggled in one specific area on 1st and 10, particularly against the New England Patriots. They didn't do a good job in their game earlier this year. The one thing Dan Marino told me, he said, we've got to pick up yardage on 1st and 10 because we don't want to have to face their nickel on 2nd and 3rd down and long all night.
Best in the league on the opening possession. Facing a 2nd and 6 here. Over the middle, caught by Beatty at the 45-yard line. Lockhart, Howard were also in there. There's Beatty, and it's a first down Miami.
You always wonder what a quarterback reads. Watch number 51, Eugene Lockhart. See him right side. See him move out of the way. Just one step. That's all Marino needs. He wanted to work to the tight end. Great catch by Beatty. But you could see Lockhart slide a little bit to the left. Marino says, that's all I need. Let me throw it away from you. Greg makes a great catch.
On the fingertips. He had a big game against New England in the first meeting. Marino changing the play on 1st and 10. Smith. Cross midfield, knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Colin took him out.
He needs that bad.
Yes.
That was a confidence infusion for Sammy Smith. Because what happens, he not only picks up positive yards the first time he touches it, he held on to it. That's important. That's been bothering him. But watch the move. He runs with some authority here. He gets outside, got the ball in the proper hand, away from pursuit. Good straight arm, using the sideline as a friend, gets out of bounds. And also, when he got out of bounds, the crowd gave him a nice applause.
Exactly.
And he feels that.
Had those 2 critical fumbles back-to-back against Kansas City and then Houston in a game that they had won. 4-man rush. Marino throws underneath to Page. He's down to the 36-yard line. Lockhart makes the tackle again.
You know, Tony Page has had 27 receptions coming into this game, and he averages 8.5 every time he touches the ball. While I was walking around on the field during the warm-ups, I happened to be standing and watching him catch the football. He's a big guy. I mean, you know, he's 235 pounds. Got sweet hands, though. Very soft, puts the ball away, and a nifty runner for 235.
This is the 6th-play drive so far for the Dolphins. 4:15 to go in the quarter. 3-0 New England. Smith. And this New England defense has been tough to run against up front, but Smith gets down to the 32-yard line. In fact, defensively, they are 9th in the NFL against the run, giving up less than 100 yards a game.
Joe Collier, their defensive coordinator, and there you see him with the clipboard in his hand. Took a year out of football, was with the Denver Broncos, seemed like forever, and has come here and done an excellent job defensively. Their front seven is probably as good as you'll find in football. They're exposed in the perimeters at the corners and the safeties a little bit.
And that will be an area they'll concentrate on in the draft. They have very little speed back there anymore. 2nd and 6. Marino with a quick read, throws to Clayton inside the 10 to the 5, touchdown.
Tony Clayton just does a great job of selling. Mark Clayton does an excellent job off the line of scrimmage. Marino just flings that ball out. Now look at the effort to get in the end zone. These are the big plays that the Miami Dolphins were not getting. Look at him throw that thing. Just fires it out before anybody can get in the air. And Clayton, that's a 15-yard straight arm for a touchdown.
Fought off David Poole, number 27, to get in for a 31-yard touchdown. And Stoyanovich will come on for the point after. That was the 70th touchdown catch that Mark Clayton has made from Dan Marino in his career, the most productive combo in NFL history.
For McDonald's McLean Deluxe,
Marino has led the Dolphins to an opening drive touchdown and a 7-3 lead over New England, and Marino has connected with Clayton now 70 times in his career. Almost unbelievable, and those are the top 3 all-time. Unitas to Raymond Berry, Montana to Rice.
Forgot to take the tag off his hat. Must have just took that one right off the rack to throw it on.
Stoyanovich to kick off. The Dolphins special teams have done the worst job in the NFL this year, allowing people to get past the 20. John Vaughn and Marvin Allen are back there. Vaughn tries to cut it outside, and this time the special teams do their job. They got him at the 16-yard line. 3:12 to go. First period of play from Miami. First period of play from Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. And Victor Kayem in the owner's booth on the right. He has until Tuesday to come up with $38 million to buy out minority owner Fran Murray. The NFL has been working with the ball club trying to get this situation resolved. I know how they can do it. All they have to do is call Joe Theismann. He'll write a check, and it's over.
No. There is another quarterback here who's got a pretty good hefty raise by the name of Marino they might want to consider. I don't know if he wants to buy New England, though.
They have told the team nobody's paycheck is in danger. The team, for the foreseeable future at least, will be in New England. And not to worry, just concentrate on football. Dolphins show blitz and come with everybody. The run blitz, and Jarvis Williams nailed Leonard Russell in the backfield.
Boy, you talk about great scouting. Jarvis Williams, look, you don't even see him in your picture, right? He's sneaking up, wham, right between the tight end of the tackle, right in the backfield, almost taking the handoff. Leonard Russell didn't stand a chance. Jarvis Williams made 3 tackles so far in the first 2 drives.
And when you come up that late, the line cannot adjust to it. Millen to throw. This is what Miami wanted, to have him in this position. Throws deep. McMurtry caught it at the sideline at the 40. What a throw by Hugh Millen.
Nowhere to put the football, but where it was put to be caught. I think that's the key to a young quarterback being able to do the things that you have to play in this game. Watch McMurtry. He hangs on the sideline, does a good job of keeping himself in a position to catch it, fields it in, gets his feet down, then gets out of bounds. What an excellent throw. That's why he's the quarterback. That's why they went with him over Tommy Hudson, because he does throw well.
But was he in bounds?
Oh, and they didn't get it off.
And now they will review it. It looked like the second foot may have come down on the strike.
In another year, the quarterbacks are going to wise up to what's going on, and they're going to get to the line of scrimmage. They're going to call a play so that no one can review it.
Is ruled on the field. The play is being reviewed.
Norm Kragseth is the replay official tonight. Watch McMurtry's right foot.
I think he's in. His heel isn't down. His heel is not down. His toe is in the ground. His heel is not down. I think it's a legit catch. Watch the right foot. Watch the right heel. Watch the right heel. You couldn't see. You can't tell from that angle. And remember, it has to be conclusive because the call has already been made a catch on the field. Don Shula on the right, Dick McPherson looking up at the replays. It's almost like Dick's talking to Don. Say, Don, look.
After further review, the play stands as called. First down.
And I think you were right. There wasn't enough evidence to overrule it.
The first angle we saw looked like the heel was up. The second one was blocked by his left foot, so they have to go with the call on the field. I think it's a good job by the officials. Good call in the booth.
Regardless, it was a terrific throw by Millen. His first start was when they upset the Houston Oilers. Well, they say it's a team game, and that time everybody jumped together.
False start.
Looked like piano
Offense
keys. A few
before
down,
the
a
snap.
few up, a few
5
down.
yards, first down.
Every other player got off the ball early.
I don't think that's in the game plan.
No.
Like left tackle, center, right guard take off. Number 77, Pat Harlow, lower left-hand part of your screen. He's in a hurry, doing a good job of trying to get a cutoff on T.J. Turner.
Well, he was the first one, but he wasn't the only one. And Coach Mack really fired up about it. 1st and 15. Play action to Russell. Millen throws, intercepted. Picked off by Mike Reichenbach. Back to midfield. His first interception of the season. The 8-year veteran who they got from the Philadelphia Eagles.
And he's done a great job filling in for both Offerdahl and Grimsley. He's really was brought in for an insurance policy. Now he's winding up having to start and doing an excellent job. He's just not going to bite on the play action on 1st and 15. Left-hand part of your screen. See, he really doesn't take the fake much. He just hunts up the tight end. And then what he does is he runs to an area because in film study, they say, listen, if the tight end crosses underneath, he's going to try and go a certain place. You run back there and then turn around.
He played middle linebacker for Buddy Ryan because Ryan said he was one of the smartest football players he'd ever been around. Look at the time for Marino. Then he dumps it short to Page, knocked out of bounds, gain of 5.
Hugh Millen, now he's going to call upstairs and say, what did you see that I saw the interception? Can you tell me what was going on? Where did this guy come from? And a lot of times when you throw the ball down the field for a 15 or 18-yard completion, you just forget about the linebackers. You got to figure that they're being controlled by underneath coverage. Now, he's talking to the gentleman with the blue jacket on. That's Dick Corey, the offensive coordinator, who came over from the Rams, and he's basically saying to him, listen, don't worry about it. We'll get it back.
8 interceptions for Millen as opposed to 2 touchdown passes. 2nd and 5, Miami. Smith. And Tippett in there in a hurry, made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. And Tippett is back to the form he displayed before he was hurt 2 years ago. Hope you'll be with us next Sunday. We'll start it with game day at noon Eastern. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Joe Theismann. And Joe will be coming to you live from Houston. Then at 7 o'clock, primetime highlights of all the day's games. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll be in the House of Pain. The Browns visit after a heartbreaker today to play the Oilers, who had to come from behind to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
But Bill Belichick has done a great job with that Cleveland football team. He's got them competitive in every game, getting real close to pulling them out.
3rd and 7. Marino guns complete down to the 31-yard line, and it's Tony Martin out of Mesa, Colorado with a 16-yard gain. David Poole made the tackle. That's the end of the first period, and a rapid one in Miami, where the Dolphins lead the New England Patriots 7-3. Amy, glad you could join us on a Sunday night. You said the Dolphins had to come out and do what they do best, and that's rely on Dan Marino, and they've been very aggressive about it.
Well, they have on offense, and they've gone to Mark Clayton. Now, Mark Clayton really felt like he should have had a much bigger game against the New England Patriots the last time he played, and he looked at film and he said, hey, the matchups that I get give me an opportunity to take advantage of catching the football and pushing the ball up the field. That's exactly what they've done. They've tried to push the ball up the field. They've tried to isolate the cornerbacks one-on-one with both Duper and Clayton.
Clayton has now caught a pass in 74 straight NFL games. 1st and 10. Sammy Smith, the single setback as Page goes to a wing. And Smith gets the toss. Drop back to Marino. Flea flicker. Over the middle, complete inside the 5 down the 2-yard line. Duper was open, and Miami pulling out all the stops for a gain of 28.
This is a perfect job of guessing that the Patriots are going to try and go after Marino. They want to throw him for a sack. Watch this. Everybody's going to commit. The ball gets here, and he's just going to take off across the field, and nobody's going to catch up to him. There it is. There's the commitment. 9 people up around the ball. A safety caught out of position. Ronnie Lepet tried to get back to help out, but couldn't get there.
And Duper has just passed Matt Moore as the all-time yardage receiving leader in this club's history. Marino wants to throw from the goal line and nearly had it picked off by Harry Coleman, the strong safety, and that would have been 99 yards, and Marino knows it.
Sure, he walked over and said, thank you very much, Harry. I appreciate that. Right side of your screen. Dan Marino on a sprint out. That isn't a big enough surprise. Wait a minute, he puts a lot of mustard on it. Harry Coleman. That ball, it's in and out of his hands before he gets a chance to close it.
You do not get that many opportunities at 99-yard interception return. Smith, the deep man in the eye. Remember the 2 huge fumbles he's had in these situations, and Marino drops it. Got it back at the 5. Fumbles, fumbles, fumbles.
Well, Coach Shula said it. Every time we do something positive, we turn around and we make a mistake. They get the ball better. Dan just doesn't get the exchange. I mean, that ball's never in his hands for some reason. And, you know, it's tough. When you're a center, you have to reach. It's called a reach block. You step hard to the left. And as you bring the ball up, it moves a little bit. And unless the quarterback moves with you, the ball is normally mishandled. And that's exactly what happened on that play.
Patriots have only given up 2 rushing touchdowns all year after 20 last year. Jim Jensen, number 11, beside Marino. Marino to the corner, Banks, touchdown. Freddie Banks with his first touchdown catch of the year. Caught 3 passes last week coming off a knee injury.
Watch Dan Marino's eye. He's going to look left, look right. He sets up. He knows exactly where he wants to go. Never, ever turned his head. He looked a little bit to the left initially, knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football, and put it exactly where he had to.
Marino now 8 out of 10, 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stoyanovich on for the point after and has it. So the Dolphins, who are not scoring well on the year, already have 14. And Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Volkswagen, experience the European driving experience we call Fahrvergnügen, only in a Volkswagen. And by the United States Marine Corps, who today is celebrating its 216th birthday. Stoyanovich set to kick off with Miami taking a 14-3 lead over New England. John Vaughn and Marvin Allen are deep. Vaughn waits at the goal line. Allen in front of him. Vaughn from the 4 this time. Dolphins down in a hurry, but he found a seam and got it out to the 25-yard line. Dan Marino has just passed John Hadle in terms of career yardage for number 6 all-time NFL. 33,578 yards.
And, you know, he's not reading his statistics. He's not doing that. What he's doing is they've sent down stills from up in the press box of the defense that the New England Patriots have tried to put up against different formations. And what he's looking at is the way they line up initially, and then when receivers get down the field, so he sees their drops and their location on the field.
Hugh Millen back to work, gives to Russell. Russell hit in the backfield and dropped. It's the rookie, Brian Cox. Our overhead shots tonight, courtesy of the Spirit of Akron, sponsored this year by Goodyear Tires. Tonight's pilot, Richard Daniels from Burbank, California.
Letters flying through the sky. When will miracles never stop?
Oh, what a great shot that is. A gorgeous stadium down here. It will be 2nd and 11, and Marvin Allen, number 39, is checked into the Pats backfield in place of Ivy Joe Hunter. Russell on the draw. Wrapped up by Griggs, initially hit by T.J. Turner.
That Dolphin defense has really come on the last couple of weeks. Did an excellent job against Houston. Had a chance to win that one. Now they've come out here against New England. Didn't play very well against Indianapolis. I bet you they're thrilled that they didn't get Indianapolis this week. And Tom Olivadotti, like I said, last year just did a fantastic job with his defense. This year he's starting to get some people back, and now they're finally starting to play well.
3rd and 9. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up very well, and Millen with time to throw. Sideline. Is it caught or yet? It is. At the 39-yard line, it will be a first down, and Irving Fryer makes the nice grab.
8 years out of Nebraska, Irving Fryer will go down, put a little out route on Michael Magruder, presses him up the field, looks inside, does a nice job of stopping. Ball's thrown a little outside, hangs in. 1, 2.
Or maybe just 1.
There it is. Now, if you look at the picture, was his right toe on the ground? That's what you have to ask yourself. Was his right toe on the ground when he made the reception? And that's what they're going to look at.
Replay official is Norm Kragseth.
Hugh Millen could have made that a little bit easier. He wants to protect from the interception. I understand
Completion
that.
is ruled on the field.
But he doesn't have to go
Play is
out.
being reviewed.
Doesn't have to quite put the ball out that far. Watch the right foot. That's going to be the key. Is it on the ground when he makes the reception? It is not. It's Tom Olivadotti. He says, wait a second. Wait. Whoa, come here.
They've got a replay screen here in the stadium, so of course the crowd reacts when they show the plays a few seconds after the completion of regular time.
I have never seen more coaches and players spend more time looking at television screens in games than I did since instant replay was put in. Something happens on the field, they instantly look up at the screens in the stadium. Now they're looking at the officials talking to one another.
And that's what the fans are able to see. And you'll hear a cheer for no particular reason or a boo for no particular reason. That is why.
Hey, it's very clear to the fans. They see things quite clearly, and they react right away. And a coach gets excited.
We have a reversal. Incomplete pass.
And that was a 3rd and 9 play, so the Pats will have to kick it away.
And that was another good job by the instant replay. I am not a proponent of it, but it's made 2 good calls here tonight.
I was going to say, in 4 years, I think that's the first nice thing you've said about instant replay.
Could be another 4 years, too, at least. I guess it serves a purpose, but I just think that you have to give the guys on the field an opportunity to run the football game.
Sean McCarthy on the punt. That's Tony Martin, waiting at his own 30-yard line. Martin has only returned Scott Miller, averaging 8.2 on returns. Rookie out of UCLA. High snap, comes down with it, and it's blocked. Loose ball. The Dolphins have it at the 8-yard line.
Mark Logan, number 20, comes right up the middle and really doesn't block it with his hands. He just gets it blocked with his body. He got so close.
And who got the loose ball? Jim Jensen.
The object of the punt team is to get the ball off under 2 seconds. If you don't get it off under 2 seconds, they can't protect you. Watch the left-hand part of your screen. He makes the reception. The ball is off. At 2-2, he gets it blocked. It's not going to happen. Either the kicker's got to get it off quicker, or the guys up front have got to give him a little more time, and I don't believe they can. Logan does an excellent job of just selling out and keeping an eye on the ball.
Jensen, number 11, comes in late and picks it up. And the Dolphins will have the football at the 7-yard line. The Patriots want a timeout to talk about this turn of events. They're already down 14-3. 14-3. How'd they block the punt, Joe?
Well, this one they decided to go right up the middle. Mark Logan, who's going to be lined up right there, is just going to keep on pushing. Eugene Lockhart moves over to help out. He's got a free run right at the punter. And the thing is, McCarthy doesn't stand a chance. Look at Logan. He pushes right up the center. And he just didn't stand a chance. He's lucky he didn't have it taken off his foot and run in for a touchdown.
First block punt of his career. And a big one that could put the Dolphins ahead 21-3 if they can cash in.
You just get the feeling that they're going to try and jump on him real quick and put it up right now again for another quick 6.
Smith to the 5 and no more. Gang tackle there.
You don't think Sammy Smith is aware of where he is on the field? Watch what happens when he gets the football. He takes the handoff from Marino. Now he knows he's put the ball on the ground in a crucial situation. Look at this. Look at that. No, I am nobody. Now look, he sees his hand got away for a second. He said, whoa, no, traffic. Let me cover it up.
What he did not do against Kansas City and Houston. 2nd and goal from the 4. Marino throws incomplete, trying to throw the slant to Clayton.
Oh, he loves that pass.
He was well covered by Maurice Hurst.
He absolutely loves that pass. Dan Marino has such great confidence in his release and the receivers that he's going to throw the ball to a spot. And as soon as the linebacker underneath coverage clears, he's going to fire the ball out. Lower right-hand side of your screen. Watch that. Look. See the linebacker or defensive back clear? He doesn't care if the guy looks like he's covered. He feels like he can get it in. Good job by Maurice Hurst.
3rd and 4. 4 wideouts in the game. And Jensen is the setback in motion. Marino goes near side, throws behind his intended receiver, incomplete. Trying to hit Duper. He was covered by David Poole.
That's an excellent job by the Patriot defense, stopping the bleeding a little bit. They put a finger in the dike that time.
This could have been out of hand at 21-3. Instead, Stoyanovich will come on to try the field goal that would make it 17-3. Scott Secules, the backup quarterback, is the holder. Spot us at 12. It'll be a 22-yard attempt, and Stoyanovich is true. 14 out of 17 field goal attempts this year for Stoyanovich. Miami over New England, 17-3, early 2nd quarter. The Dolphins have only scored 17 points twice in the first half this year. Both have been against Joe Collier's defense.
When you look at what's happened, they hit the big pass to Clayton, they hit the flea flicker to Duper, and they wind up having a punt block. I think Joe Collier's defense has done an excellent job tonight. They have to get the offense going.
Stoyanovich to kick to John Vaughn. From the 1. Dolphins have done a good job on special teams so far tonight, and do again as Vaughn only gets out to the 23-24-yard line. There is a flag down. Vaughn, the rookie out of Michigan, who came out a year early. Lewis Cooper was downfield to make the tackle.
Well, you know, you love it when your left tackle goes over and talks not only to John Sandusky, the
Illegal
line
block
coach.
in the back, number 87 on the return. Half the distance, first down.
Ben Coates, the backup tight end who committed the personal foul.
And you see Coach Shula in there, too. I mean, you know, it makes a quarterback feel good to sit on a bench and look over and see the head coach and the offensive line coach talking to your left tackle.
10-yard
Especially
penalty.
when your left tackle's Richmond Webb. So they spot it all the way back between the 12 and 13-yard line, and Hugh Millen will bring out the offense from there, down 17-3. This is a team that only averages 12.7 points a game.
And they can't afford to come out and just run the football. They have to start putting it up in the air.
And they do, or try. Millen swarmed under inside the 5. Cliff Odom, the 11-year veteran out of Texas Arlington, makes the tackle.
He was trying to go down the field to one of the wide receivers, and then there was a safety valve. They swung Leonard Russell out to the left side. You'll see number 32 will swing out to the left. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You're never going to get a chance to say 4,000. You have to get that. If you're going to go to the screen, you have to go in 3 seconds or less.
Odom has overcome the same hip injury that Bo Jackson suffered. Russell on the delay, and Griggs has him at the line of scrimmage and pushed all the way back in the end zone. Look at the squirming Dolphin. If I was Hugh Millen right now, I would not want to drop back in the end zone and throw a pass.
I see nothing wrong with this stage of throwing the ball up the field. Run seams, all 4 guys up the field, and try and hit one of the seams. You got your kicker punting out of the end zone anyway. You may as well put it up there. It's intercepted, so what?
They go with the delay instead to Stevens, who checks in for the first time. Stevens across the 5 to the 10, still fighting for yardage, and dragged down there. Jeff Cross, the first man to hit it. And New England will have to kick it away. It was a conservative call, but I think what Mack was thinking about was don't give up another turnover down here and be behind 24-3.
Yeah, but you're going to have your punter. I mean, you put your punter back out on the field, Mike, and what happened to him last time he was out there? I mean,
got it stuffed.
What's the difference in throwing one down the field, maybe? I think they'll be a little strong up the middle.
McCarthy out of the end zone. Miller is ready to receive. Low line drive. And has to get out of the way. Down to the 44-yard line with the roll. A punt of 46 yards. We're at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. Capacity 73,000. About 52,000 have come out to see this game. And Marino, 115 yards and 2 touchdowns as you look at the Budweiser storyline. Passing, Miami already with 115 yards, one of the big plays, the block punt. And the Dolphins have scored on each possession so far tonight. It's been an impressive Miami offense, to say the least.
And it's something they've needed to do. They felt like they were getting close to breaking out, and they're starting to break out of it tonight.
Clayton and Duper the wideouts, as they have been for years. Sammy Smith play action. The blitz on Marino gets it to Page. And with all the star names on this team, Tony Page is a guy who does an awful lot for Don Shula's offense.
He's an excellent blocker, so he really is a big contributor in the backfield as a blocker. But like I said, his hands are so important. You move him up in the slot, he just moves 3 or 4 yards up the field. Watch a catch. Look at that. He turns all the way back to make the catch. That's not easy. And he made it look like he was just strolling downtown.
Page out of Virginia Tech. Marino now 9 out of 13, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. These are sounding more like Dan Marino's normal stats. Play action again. That quick release gets it out to Duper. Duper is wrapped up by Maurice Hurst, but he'll have another first down. Well, when he gets a rhythm, there is still no one any better.
I was just thinking the same. You know, you can tell how things flow in a game when a quarterback, he gets in the huddle, and it starts with the huddle. His presence in the huddle. He walks in the huddle. He makes a call. You can see it in his eyes. He gets in there. He says, la-di-da-di-da, let's do this. Ready, breaks, hey, and he's out. I mean, there's no hesitation. You're absolutely right, Mike. When you get on a roll, he's gone.
Smith and Page in the eye. Sammy Smith. Gaping hole up the middle. Another first down to the 24. Harry Colin and Tim Gordon knocked him down, but Smith delivered a blow and a gain of 12.
Did you see what he did again, though? 5 yards up the field. He's got the ball in one hand, and then we're going to see him cover it up when he feels traffic and then expose it again. Watch this. He's through the hole. Okay, he's got two hands on the ball. There he covers up. See how he cuts back? When he cut back, he felt the trouble. He covered up. I mean, the young man, he said, I made a mistake. Now he's playing with his head, and he's going to get better and better.
Boy, he was psychologically devastated by the crowd reaction to him, too, and they even had a comic strip that was playing up his mistake. Really bothered Sammy Smith. Marino rifles to Clayton. Incomplete, almost picked off, and it is. Intercepted by Ronnie LePet. And Marino can't believe it.
LePet just got, they figure they've gone to the well 3 times with the quick slant. Why not go again? Left-hand part of your screen. Marino, watch it. He sets that back leg and just, whoa, fires it. Ronnie LePet just, he wants it. He's got it. It was a little bit ahead of Clayton, and LePet was there. Here comes Clayton in. He thinks he's got it, but LePet drives on the ball. It's a big thing they teach defensive backs. Go for the interception. Don't let the ball come to you.
Only the first interception of the year for Ronnie LePet. Russell back in at tailback. Pounding out to the 13-yard line. David Griggs, who's had a big game already, the first man to hit him, and Marino throwing his 7th interception of the season.
You know, the Dolphins just don't like to defensively look at the statistics and say, we're ranked 23rd against the rush. And it's an opportunity for the nation to see us, and let's do a better. Let's show them that that's really not true. And that's what they're doing tonight. They're stuffing the run. A little congratulations on the sideline for LePet.
On 2nd and 5, Russell cuts it outside. And a flag goes down. Could be a face mask as he reached the 15-yard line. Cross and J.B. Brown coming up from the corner made the tackle. Get the call from Bob McElwee. And it is a face mask.
It's going to be a first down, number 37.
There it is. Up around the head. Actually, that wasn't a face mask. That was a helmet.
Helmets don't count.
Helmets don't count, but the official called it. Watch this. You see it? He's on his head. He doesn't have his face mask. Never, ever grab the face mask. Now, you're saying to yourself, why doesn't replay change it?
They can't.
That's one of my complaints.
1st and 10. Millen with a short drop. Great toss and a first down out to the 44-yard line. I.B. Joe Hunter, the fullback. David Griggs made the tackle. It's a gain of 24 yards. College football getting very interesting right now, and we'll have a triple header coming your way this Saturday starting at 11:30. Chris Fowler and Lee Corso in the studio. Then at 12:30 to the Big Ten, number 25 Indiana against 19th ranked Ohio State. The Buckeyes with a big win last week. Then at 7:30 Arkansas against 12th ranked Texas A&M. And at 10:30 Brigham Young and San Diego State with Marshall Faulk. 1st and 10, Millen to throw again. In the flat, complete into Miami territory, and Fryer has it at the 48-yard line. Vespi Jackson makes the tackle on him along with J.B. Brown.
We talked about Marino's rhythm. Now Millen's got himself one going.
Yes, he does.
Still got those young eyes. You know, those eyes are looking over it at the coach saying, I think so. Okay, I'll go along with that.
2nd and 2 with 3 minutes 39 seconds to go in a rapid first half. Stevens at tailback. He'll get the draw. And about 5 yards brought down by Cliff Odom. Stevens has carried the ball only 42 yards this year coming into this ball game. Missed the first 2 weeks with a holdout.
Watch the left guard and left tackle. This is somewhat to the old counter tray as we talk about the Redskins. You'll see him come across, kick out, and Stevens will take it up inside. See, there they go. Follow me. Big Armstrong turns through the hole, looking for somebody to hit.
And Elbert Crawford with a good block, too. 1st and 10. Millen with time to Hunter. Cox takes him down along with Jarvis Williams. A gain of 17.
The Dolphins play a 2-deep defense. They play the corners up and the safeties back. And the place that the defense is exposed is down the hash marks with tight ends or backs, isolated on linebackers. That's exactly what you see happen here with Ivy Joe Hunter. Gets behind the linebacker Cox into the soft area of the defense.
The coaches say that Hunter is playing as well as he can possibly play. A Plan B acquisition from the Colts. Stevens down near the 20, and that will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. New England on a drive, but they trail the Miami Dolphins late in the first half, 17-3. Miami over New England, 17-3, 2 minutes to go first half, but the Patriots driving at the 20-yard line. Coming up at halftime, Chris Berman around the league, the fastest 3 minutes in television. The Redskins went crazy in the passing attack today, and Joe will be on with the first half analysis of this one.
Mark Rippon, 6 touchdown passes, 1 rushing. I mean, boy, I tell you, when Atlanta, if you try to blitz the Redskins and they pick it up, that's what happens. Lots of touchdown passes for the QB.
Stevens remains in as the deep back. And he loses 2. Alfred Oglesby, the nose tackle who switched back to that spot with T.J. Turner 2 weeks ago, gets the first hit.
The problem with that one is they try and run the counter tray or counter run to the left. The guard and tackle pull. Now, if the guard and tackle are going left and there's nobody left over on the right, if you try and cut back, chances are there's no place to go. And that's what happened there.
Down to 1:28 to go. New England with all 3 of its timeouts left, and Millen goes to the shotgun on 3rd and 7. High snap. Dumps it to Stevens. And Stevens hit and dropped Bobby Harden. The backup strong safety stops him back at the 20-yard line, and this will be a field goal situation for New England.
Gene Chilton decided that he wanted to snap the ball, and Hugh Millen decided he wasn't ready, but he did a good job just fielding it. This one's going to hit him right. Look at him looking around. He's calling the signals. He's going, wow!
Whoa, football.
Hit me in the eye. Oh, no, what is this thing? But what a great reaction to go up and get it. It's like one for your eye.
There are some guys who would have ducked. Bauman, who has already hit 1 field goal. You would have?
I would have. Yeah, this thing's coming at you when you're not ready.
This will be from 37 against his former team. And Bauman is 2 for 2 and gets New England on the scoreboard again. It's 17-6 with 23 seconds left in the half.
Dean Witter
By Pompano Beach. The Goodyear Blimp now in its 4th decade of participation in the telecast of major sporting events. What was the first one? Trivia. Wrong.
What do I lose?
1960, the Orange Bowl. 31 years ago.
Didn't have to go very far to come up here, then.
No, they didn't. Just down
Took
through
them that
Pompano
many
Beach.
years, though?
Yeah.
Why only that little distance?
Mark Logan and Aaron Craver waiting at the goal line for Bauman, who has been successful on 2 long-range field goals. Craver all the way up to the 14 on the short kickoff. And back across the 35 to the 36 with 18 seconds to go. Tomorrow night at 8:30, join us for Shap Talk. Dick Schaap's special guest, Florida State coach Bobby Bowden, the #1 Seminoles getting ready for #2 Miami. As always, you have a chance to call in and ask your questions. Ask Bobby about all the trick plays that he'll have lined up for the Canes.
Oh, and he will have them, too.
What a great coach.
A great guy. Just really a first-class person. He's got an excellent program, got fantastic athletes on his football team. And, he makes the game fun because when you watch Bobby's football team in Florida State play, you don't know what they're going to do.
Neither does the defense. 18 seconds to go. If you're Dan Marino, what do you do here from your own 36?
Well, you've got timeouts left, so you try and get in field position for a field goal. So you try and put the ball down the middle of the field because that's the area that's going to be exposed the most.
Three-man rush, screen. Craver ducks around one tackle out to the 45, but there's a penalty flag down back at the 29-yard line. And that took 8 seconds off the clock. Dan Marino up to lend some advice.
Illegal formations against the offense. Offsides against the defense. Offsetting foul. Replay the down.
Really to New England's advantage because it takes 8 seconds off the clock and leaves only 10.
Now I think you put it on the ground. You kneel down and go in at halftime with your 17-6 lead. Talk about what you've done positively. Tell the defense keep doing the job of shutting down the running game in New England and come back out the second half.
After all, you do have a 17-6 lead.
A lot of times coaches that are in the press box will come down. That's Dick Corey, offensive coordinator in New England.
And we have a timeout on the field with 10 seconds to go. And now they're going to resume play after all.
Now Dick's going to bring it out and say, he said, guys, this is your quarterback. I want to introduce you to him. We have to take care of him. Dick is family's in Los Angeles, and son Mike had back surgery. Got all the kids, all 7 kids. Want to know he moved out here. They're all in Los Angeles, so let him know his dad's here and working.
Miami with a tight formation, and Marino will just kneel down, and that will take care of it. Good first half for the Dolphins, especially on offense. They got Marino untracked, and they lead the New England Patriots at home 17-6. That's it for us in the first half. Let's go back to our studios and Chris Berman.
All right, Mike and Joe.
Leading the New England Patriots 17-6 at halftime. Mike Patrick along with Joe Theismann. Glad you could join us on a Sunday night. We told you at the beginning of the telecast the Dolphins felt they absolutely had to win this game tonight, and they've come out and played like it.
Well, they really have, and they're doing the things that they felt like they had to do. They felt that they had to give Dan Marino the opportunity to become a big part of this football game. The way you do that is you block for him on the offensive line. That's Richmond Webb up against Andre Tippett, who it seems like anybody who wears 56 in this league is good, and he's another one. They get the time to throw the football. Now he comes with the touchdown pass. New England says, well, geez, if you're going to block him, let's try and bring the linebacker. That's David Howard putting the rush on, but it doesn't matter. Look at the job Mark Clayton does. That's a 15-yard straight arm. He fights to get in the end zone. These are the big plays that the Dolphins have not gotten this year. And also on the special teams. I told you before, Mike Westhead wanted to give out some big play T-shirts. Well, here, look at the push of the line. Now, all of a sudden, Mark Logan comes in, doesn't really get blocked with his hands. He blocks it with his face. Now, the Dolphins have done all the things that they've had to do the first half to get back into a rhythm, get back into a groove. But New England isn't out of this. It's only 17-6. They put together a couple of good drives. Coach McPherson told us, listen, we just can't go out and play close and play well. We have to go out and win. For them to win, they have to continue to be patient. I think they're going to have to put the football a lot more in the air than they did the first half.
Dick McPherson has done a whale of a job instilling spirit into his team. A lot of people have referred to it as a college rah-rah attitude, but he has done far more than that. He has always been a very outgoing, personable coach. And when he was at Syracuse, he had tremendous spirit on his ball club. And he's always been that way as an assistant coach in the NFL and he surrounded himself by some outstanding assistants, particularly Joe Collier, his defensive coordinator. Miami will get the ball back to start the second half. Craver at the 9. Wrapped up as he got to the 23-yard line, brought down by Marion Hobby. Take a look at the first half stats, and the Dolphins with 135 passing yards, only 25 rushing, and they've almost forgotten about the run in the first half, Joe.
Well, they have to. I mean, they really, Mike, they have to put it away. They have to put it beside them. Now they've got to make something happen. They realize that. You know what's interesting about Miami? In contrast, the first half, they come out in their first possession, and they've been 6 for 9 with scores. They haven't scored on one all year with their first half, with their second half possession.
In the first half, they averaged starting at their own 49. This time it's from the 23. They'll keep it on the ground with Sammy Smith. He picks up 4, and Tim Goad, the nose tackle, who had a season-high 8 tackles in the first game, makes the stop.
I bet you wonder where Dan Marino threw the ball in the first half.
And I'll bet you're going to tell me.
Funny you should ask. If you look at his passing chart, you see it down the middle, 3 for 3. They've exposed. I believe Fred Marion, remember, did not start. They've had Tim Gordon in, who's only played 5 years, and that's where they're isolating. But look at how he spreads the ball around. Little to the right, little to the left, and bang, try and go down the middle for the big one.
2nd and 7. Smith again behind Tony Page. He got him a good block. Smith still on his feet, breaking tackles across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Ray Agnew, the defensive end, had to chase him down along with Tim Gordon. Fred Marion, who had started 101 straight games coming into this one, has a stomach muscle pull.
You know, he only has 1 interception, but the thing that jumps out is those 3 forced fumbles. That's what you need from the safeties. The linebackers are going to stand people up. You have to come in and put your hat on the ball and have the runners cough it up. That's what they're missing. The Patriots need a turnover from somebody.
3rd and a yard. Marino play action. Dumps it. Complete to the tight end. Beatty near midfield. Gordon. Ankle tackle. A gain of 15. Beatty is in there as the starter because Farrell Edmonds has been hurt all year, and he's done a fine job.
When you're running the football, even a little bit, you can do it. See how he sets, takes on David Howard? Everybody thinks, geez, he's blocking. Then all of a sudden he releases into the void of the middle of the field, turns it up. Gordon does a nice job just to get him down. Pass right in the weak spot of the defense. Everybody's chasing over where the play action fake was. Come back away from it.
Four-man rush. Marino with time. Throws complete to Page. Page has a first down at the New England 40-yard line. Tony Page has been a big target coming out of the backfield tonight. 5 catches, 47 yards.
He looks like he's hanging out with Duper and Clayton. See that stop and start? Hey, this man's 235. He stops, cuts a little bit to the right, comes back around, circles, and picks up 5 more yards.
He runs many of the patterns that have always been the trademark of Jim Jensen when he comes in as their 3rd down specialist.
He also has the ability, being in the 2 backs in the backfield, of running them that we see H-backs and other tight ends run in other offenses.
Miami, an exceptional performance so far on offense. Smith, another big hole, and another first down to the New England 28-yard line. Gene Lockhart made the tackle. 9 carries, 52 yards for Sammy Smith. I guess with a 17-6 lead, you go a little more to the run.
Well, if you can, you do it. But with Sammy Smith, you feel that he's starting to gain more and more confidence. Gets a nice push up. Richmond Webb does a good job coming off the ball. You see Gene Williams push up now. He protects it when he gets in traffic. Now he's starting to get a little more confident, starting to run a little bit looser.
Smith again. Down to the Patriots' 25-yard line.
First down was a big down for the Dolphins. Coach Shula told us that's where we had to be more efficient. Look at this efficiency. 4 yards or more, 10 of 15 times. That means that Dan Marino has come up 2nd down and 6, 10 times, which means that the offense is dictating to the defense.
so much easier to call plays and so much harder to defend them.
And that's the job of Joe Collier, walking around the seats. He's looking at every page of his chart to figure out how to stop that offense.
Hasn't found one yet. Aaron Craver checks in on 2nd and 7. He's number 34 for Miami. Marino guns this one. Martin turned out and Marino threw in. And how many times have you seen this? Dan Marino walking downfield saying, hey, throw the ball to you, run the pattern I asked you to.
Well, that's when a guy is in charge. He knows exactly where people are supposed to be. Watch this. Now, Marino expects him to be on the right side of the screen. He hesitates a second. Hurst does a good job of playing a little bit of a game with him. I mean, David Poole, I'm sorry, does a good job. Now, Dean says, come here. Yo, get over here. I want to talk to you right now.
Martin, of course, a converted college quarterback in only his 2nd year as a wide receiver. 3rd and 7 now for Miami. Jensen in motion. And the pass goes outside. Jensen turns around and looks at Clayton. Clayton looks at Jensen. Marino looks at both of them.
Number 21, Mickey Washington, gives Jensen a little bump here. Up. Well, what happens, see, Clayton did such a good job. What it was a pick. But the problem is he ran his guy into Jensen.
So now Stojanovic will come on to try a 43-yard field goal. He hit a 21-yarder earlier. This guy's one of the best kickers in the league in only his 3rd year out of Indiana. Plenty of distance, and it's good. So Stojanovic has the Dolphins on the board again. They lead it 20-6. Discover how substance is taking shape Cadillac style by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by ESPN Home Video. To order fantastic football plays, call 1-800-662-1400. Miami leads at 20-6. The good news for the Patriots, there's 10 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. The bad news is they've scored 10 points in the 3rd quarter all year long.
Yeah, but the defense of the Patriots did what they had to do. They didn't let him in the end zone. It's the first drive of the 2nd half and the first defensive stay in the 2nd half that sets the tempo. The Patriots have to feel a little optimistic. They're not down by more.
Stojanovic to kick to John Vaughn. Waiting at the goal line. Chase toward the corner. Vaughn to the 20, pinned there, and Jim Jensen, the first man down to hit him.
That's why they call him Crash. Jim Crash Jensen. They tried to replace him with Aaron Craver, and he just didn't get the job done. So Jensen's back on 3rd downs, and there's a scoring drive. Stojanovic, 43-yard field goal, 9 plays, 50 yards. But the important thing is 4 minutes and 44 seconds. The Dolphins are taking time off the clock.
Millen comes out with Russell, the tailback, back in there, and Ivy Joe Hunter in front of him in the eye. And Ivy Joe Hunter will get the carry out to the 26, 27-yard line.
Hugh Millen standing there. Now, this is where he's thrown the football. It's interesting. He's a right-handed quarterback, so when he drops back, he sees this way. Look out here to the left. He has not thrown one pass out or deep to the left side, and he's hit this area, and most of it have been crossing patterns by the tight end. So he's staying to the right side of the field. Coaches will examine that at halftime, and they'll defend him that way.
2nd and 3, McMurtry in motion. Russell trying to establish something on the ground here. He did not reach the 30, and that's where they need to go to get the first down. T.J. Turner, the first man in there on the stop. Turner out of Houston only has a half sack this year, and the entire Dolphin front 3 has not been able to generate a lot of pass pressure.
Well, and you can't blame them because Alfred Oglesby, they wanted him to play. He was a nose tackle last year. They wanted him to play end, so he played end until a couple of weeks ago. Now they got him back at nose tackle. T.J. Turner was in the other place, and they seem to do a lot of shuffling up there.
3rd and a yard. Russell cuts it outside, has the first down. tripped up by Jarvis Williams. Boy, he made a smart decision there, Joe. If he'd have continued to go outside, he could have lost first down yardage. Instead, he cut it back, settled for a couple, and kept the drive going.
Good instinctive running and knowing what you need as far as a running back goes. There are times when you can break it, and short yardage is really the time when most big runs are broken because everybody's close to the line of scrimmage. He sees daylight, but does do a good job of just picking up the first down.
Spotted at the 33, 8 minutes and 13 seconds to go, third period.
You have to throw the football. You have to throw it.
Four-man rush, time for Millen. Drops it to his tight end, Marv Cook. And Cook will pick up yardage to about the 39-yard line. Cliff Odom was in on the stop. Patriots have struggled offensively as far as scoring most of this year, and especially as we told you in this quarter, they just haven't been able to put any points on the board. That's 10 points. This is the 10th game of the season.
You want looking for a positive? The opponents have only gotten 16. But normally a team will make adjustments at halftime and come out and be a bit more productive. They haven't.
2nd and 4. Russell. Still on his feet. Great second effort by Russell and very close to another first down. J.B. Brown had to help out Jeff Cross on the tackle. Russell, 6'2", 235, only has one 100-yard rushing game. That came a week ago against Buffalo, but he has 4 on the year, over 75.
I was visiting with Dick Corey on the field during the warm-ups, and he said this young man reminds him an awful lot of Chuck Muncie. Big, strong, powerful type runner. Gets outside, got pretty good outside speed, and you see last week had 106 yards.
They will measure for the first down. And they have it.
Snap from center, goes up the middle. Says, well, there's nothing here. Lays his shoulder down. Look at the leg drive, though. Look at the leg drive. See, keeps it going, keeps it going. When you're that big and that strong, if you keep your legs going, good things are going to happen.
The only knock on Russell is he has had 4 fumbles this year. They've lost 3 of them, and sometimes the extra effort will result in fumbles. Millen, nice play fake. Now gets it to Russell out of the backfield, and he's dragged down by Odom from behind.
Millen showed me something there. He wanted to go further down the field, stood with nice poise, reloaded, dumped it off to the back, crossing out underneath. Jeff Cross, look at him coming in. Goes inside, goes outside. Bruce Armstrong keeping an eye on him. That's what makes Jeff Cross an all-pro. He just doesn't quit.
And one of the reasons he only has 3 sacks this year, he almost always faces a double team. Russell behind Hunter. Nice block by Hunter. And Russell rambles inside the Dolphins' 40-yard line. Chased out of bounds by Lewis Oliver, but a gain of 11 and another first down.
Lewis Oliver, one of the safeties for the Dolphins, is having an excellent year. Has wanted to become more of a ball hawk than just a hitter. Now, this is going to be from our goalpost cam. There's Oliver right there. Watch him react to the ball. As the runner moves, watch him move towards the ball. He sees everything. Slides a little bit, slides. Now he becomes aggressive, takes an angular pursuit, says, well, I can't quite catch him. Let me run him out of bounds.
First down, New England at the Miami 38. Millen with all day to throw. Now some pressure. Dumps it to Hunter. Reichenbach got him at the 40. A late hit and no flag. One thing about Millen, it has not been an easy pro career. He was the 3rd-round pick of the Rams, but 8 days into training camp, he broke a leg. And a month later, they traded for Jim Everett, and he knew his future in Los Angeles was over. Went to Atlanta in '88 after being cut. Picked up by New England as a Plan B free agent. They knew they needed some quarterback help. And so far, he has provided it. He's getting better. 2nd and 12. Up top for Fryer. Touchdown. There is a flag down, but it looks like J.B. Brown was the guilty party. A 40-yard pass from Millen to Fryer.
That's just speed. We said Irving Fryer was playing like a young kid again. Looked quicker than ever. That time,
Illegal contact, 37 defense. Penalty decline, touchdown.
that time he put the strength on and went up the field. Well, you can take that third quarter statistic and make it 17 now, or 16 so far. This is just a takeoff. He loves this route. Look at the strength. Little hesitation. J.B. bites. Now he bumps him, but hardly ever breaks stride.
Millen now 12 out of 15, 162 yards. And that'll light up his eyes. Bauman comes on for the point after. And it's a 7-point game. New England with 7 points in the third quarter. The first 9 games they had only 10. Fryer spoke about that frustration and how Coach Mack has swept it away for the players.
There's been a staleness here in New England. There's been a staleness between the coaches and the players. There's been a staleness between the players and the administration. So I think he's brought everything together as one, and it's something that, you know, it's working because we're playing better, we're winning more games, and, you know, we're feeling good about it.
And that comes from a player who was ready to leave town at the end of last season and makes this touchdown grab to make it a 20-13 game. 31st of his career. Bauman kicks off. Craver has to chase it back, and they get it all the way back inside the 5 where Logan picks it up. Logan in trouble and doesn't make the 10-yard line. So indecision on special teams cost the Dolphins field position on this one. We'll be back in a moment. Bruce Armstrong looking up at the scoreboard and the crowd and cheering on his teammates as they have closed the gap to 7 here in Miami. And that's from the goalpost cam.
We can take you places you have never been before. Right in the huddle.
Well, this is one place Dan Marino doesn't want to be, back at his own 9-yard line.
I've always felt like this is a great place on the field to just try and go up top deep because the team's got to defend so much of the field.
But keep in mind, you thought every place on the field was a good place to throw deep.
Yeah, that's true.
Smith picks up 3 or 4. Fred Smerlis, the veteran, in at nose tackle, made the stop. 80-yard drive. Only the second time this year the Patriots have had an 80-yard drive for a score, and Fryer finished it off from 40 yards out. Dick McPherson trying to bring his ball club back. They have a 3-6 record, which is 3 more wins, or 3 times the number of wins they had all of last year. 2nd and 6 for the Dolphins. Smith off left tackle, stacked up, couldn't go anywhere. Garen Veras made the tackle. Veras missed all of a season with a knee injury, now used as a designated pass rusher.
Fred Smerlis has been a lot of different places. Watch the nose tackle. See him slide over, number 76. Good job by the defense. Just chases the play down. This Chase going to hang on to anything he can get to. 13 years he's been chasing ball carriers from that nose tackle position.
Says this team gets mad when they don't win because they've come to expect to now. 3rd and 7. 4-man rush. Marino pressured and down. The sack by Marion Hobby out of Tennessee. His first of the year.
Marion Hobby is a designated pass rusher. In Joe Collier's defensive scheme, what he does is he likes to bring in a lot of different people to do specific things. Marion Hobby is a pass rusher. Stunts always create problems for the offensive line because the linemen get held. That time Hobby just gets a head of steam up, and the guard doesn't have an opportunity, or Burt Widener, the center, didn't have an opportunity to get in front of him.
Reggie Roby out of his end zone, kicking to Henderson. blasts it. Henderson driven all the way back to the 41. Circles. And loses ground. What a kick by Roby. 54 yards and a loss of 8 on the return. Tony Page made the tackle. Roby with a 54-yard punt to get the Dolphins out of trouble. Second in the NFL in average, and soon to be rewarded with a contract that will make him the highest paid punter in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you know the thing about him, watch this. A lot of guys like to get off the ground for lift. Look at the extension. And he never leaves the ground. He never, ever gets off the ground.
Baryshnikov would be happy with that stance.
I mean, it's unbelievable the extension he gets, and the ball goes straight up and then takes off.
First and 10, New England. 2:24 to go, third quarter. They are down by a touchdown. And the fullback, Hunter, will get maybe a yard. Jeff Cross made the stop. Brian Cox also in on the stop, the rookie out of Western Illinois. They nearly lost him permanently in preseason. He suffered a severe contusion of his cervical spine, and it was an ugly looking thing, and the young man has come back and played very well. Second and 9. Millen, flag is down, dumps it to Russell. Russell got out of bounds to 44. We'll check the penalty back where you would normally see holding. And there's the reaction from Coach Mack.
Illegal use of the hands. Hands to the face. Number 77 offense. 10 yards, second down.
That's the rookie Pat Harlow out of Southern Cal.
Brian Cox, we saw him make the tackle earlier. Number 51. Now he's covering Marv Cook down the field. That's where Millen wants to go, but there's no space to put the ball up. Now he reacts. Here's one of those young guys with those legs. You know, he runs down the middle. The ball goes to the right sideline. He's going to run over there. That's the kind of hustle coaches look for.
Second and 19. Millen with time goes to Fryer. Short makes the catch at the 28-yard line. Covered there easily by J.B. Brown. Gain of only 4, so it's third and 15. Dick McPherson really hot about something. He is an emotional gentleman, always has been.
And the players respect him. They don't think it's phony. They know that's the way Mac is, and they respect that a lot because what you see is what you get.
Patriots tonight have failed to hit a third and long. Cross on the pass rush. Screen to Stevens. John Stevens, first down. Across midfield to the 49. E.J. Jr. had to make the tackle, but on the longest developing screenplay I can remember a long time, it was a gain of 24.
This is a screenplay that is set up off of what's called a dash. What'll happen is the quarterback will set, swing out to the right, draw the defense to him, and then throw back.
Stevens almost had a choice of whether to fair catch that one or not. We've got a timeout. End of the third quarter. It's a one-touchdown lead for Miami, but New England has done several things they've had to do here in the second half. The last play was one of them, a screen pass, keeping the drive alive.
Well, the defense came out early and shut them down, didn't let them in the end zone. They only gave up a field goal. The offense puts a big drive together, converts some third downs. Now on 3rd and 15, the first one of the game, they pick up more than the yards they need to get a first down in good field position.
And Hugh Millen has hit 10 straight passes. Spot the ball at the Miami 49-yard line. Russell. And J.B. Brown did a nice job fighting off Ivy Joe Hunter's block. and driving him out of bounds for a short gain.
I want to take you back a play before we went to break and show you what happens when the quarterback dashes. It's called a dash or a drop roll, and the intention is to try and work the ball up the field. He looks up the field. Now see him look up the field, set. Now Stevens had come all the way back on the other side of the field. Now, that's a blind throw, because when you turn around, you don't know what's back there. Great execution by Millen, but Stevens doesn't have the first down until he breaks the tackle there the second time. Good running by John Stevens as well.
And only the 5th pass that he's caught the entire season. Blitz. Millen unloads to Cook. To the 20, and Oliver takes him out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Marv Cook with a big catch, and Millen found the hole in the defense.
What great sweet hands Marv Cook has. Watch the way he catches the football. We saw Eric Green last week. Remember when he reached out for the first touchdown he caught? You see 85 release. Now that time Brian Cox lets him go. But see how he doesn't wait for the ball to come to his body. He goes out, reaches for the ball, and makes the reception. Watch him reach back. See that? That way, even if he's hit, the ball's going to be there 2 feet before he waited for it.
Millen putting up some impressive numbers now. 15 out of 18, 219 yards. Russell. Huge hole. Brought down at the 7-yard line. Just stumbled, covered by Oliver. That was so close to being a touchdown.
Coach Shula has seen that so many times. He can't believe that this is happening again. The thing is turned. We saw Marv Cook catch the ball. Now look at him turn on Cox. See, all he has to do, as a matter of fact, he makes the tackle. He made the tackle. He tripped Russell going through, but you see him turn, and all you have to do is shield the defensive player.
1st and goal. Russell again, picking his way to the 5. In goal-to-go situations this year, New England has scored every time it has been in that position. And the Miami defense has been scored upon every time an opponent had a goal to go.
Well, neither team is going to do what you just said if they try and run up the middle of the football field like they did that time.
75% of the time they have scored touchdowns, and that's in the middle of the NFL. And Dick McPherson certainly making his wishes known to his assistant coaches. Tip, Cook, touchdown. What concentration by Marv Cook. That's one of the toughest things in the world to do if the ball changes angles in flight, to keep your eyes on it and catch it.
Especially when you're up in the air. Here's a guy who goes up in the air anticipating the ball and has to hang there a little bit. Now, you don't think the Dolphins know that they're going to him? He's got 4 people around him. Millen does a nice job of hanging. You see Odom's tipped the ball. Look at, he goes up, catches it again with his hands, and fights to get in the end zone.
Charlie Bauman is on to tie. And does. And it's been a while tonight before Dick McPherson had a chance to cheer about something, but this was it.
Business kept us on the road for days, and I was hard-pressed for a good deal on a rental car. But some guys...
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car, right on the airport, right on the money. And by McDonald's, getting more for your money. That's McDonald's today. Quite a comeback by the New England Patriots, down 20-6. They have scored 2 touchdowns with 12:21 to go in the game. It's all tied up. Bauman kicks to Craver. Instead, Logan will take it 2 yards deep and brings it out. And when you do that, you'd better make the 20 or you have some explaining to do. Logan did not. Got back to the 17-yard line. An impressive drive for Hugh Millen and the Patriots. 67 yards in 8 plays. And Marv Cook was a big part of that drive, including the touchdown.
You got to give credit to John Stevens also. The big 3rd down conversion on the running catch he makes. And there's Tom Olivadotti talking to his defense, saying, look, Oliver, you got it, Lewis, you got to gut it up. It's up to you to make a play back there. We need one.
Marino starts from his 18. Throws to Page out of the backfield. Page tripped up by David Howard. Another acquisition from Dallas. Page, 6 catches, 56 yards coming out of the backfield.
Freeze right there. You freeze it. If you freeze it, see Richmond Webb's hands inside. He's got some of the longest arms. What he does is he likes to have space in between the defensive player and the offense and himself. See how he keeps tipping away with those long hands? Excellent job of pass block.
That's the way he played all last year, but he hurt a knee during preseason and has struggled finally getting back into shape now. Sammy Smith diving across the 30. He has the first down. Ball came loose but late.
Eugene Lockhart on the stop. Eugene, the hitting machine, came over from Dallas. Knew that things were happening in Dallas that weren't very good for him.
And he was not very happy at all. He passed up some lucrative Plan B offers to stay with the Cowboys, and a week after that, they traded him. He is not happy when you mention Cowboys. He says, they think I'm done. Just watch.
A lot of guys have had a rejuvenated career after that.
Marino steps up into the pocket, throws, and it's dropped by Mark Duper. That is something that has plagued this team.
We talked about it in the open, Mike. Crucial situations. We saw Clayton make one. 15 yards, he drags a guy into the end zone. Duper has the opportunity. They bring a blitz, so he's one-on-one on Lepet. Lepet takes outside position. This is a gimme catch. That's not hard. That's not hard at all. He just flat dropped it. The difference, see the difference? He let it get to his body. We saw Marv Cook catch it out with his hands. You let it get into your body, who knows, your knee may knock it out like it did on that one.
2nd and 10. Aaron Craver has checked in. Don Shula drafted him to use him as his pass specialist, and Craver into the flat. Ripped out of bounds, Vincent Brown, whose name we have not called very often tonight, the club's leading tackler. He had 23. That's unbelievable last week against Buffalo.
19 unassisted. That's amazing. This guy all by himself did it. The reason why I think we haven't called his name is because he's an inside linebacker. He's good because he's big and strong at the point of attack. And the Dolphins have chosen to throw the football. So he's really not making the plays that he would normally against a team that ran the ball much.
3rd and 6, under 10 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the game. Low snap, but Marino handles it, steps up under pressure, and here goes Dan Marino. Slides to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 11, only 2 yards short of the longest run of his career, and that came against New England.
But, you know, this year he's carried the ball 13 times for -10. So his average is going to improve a little bit. New England only rushes 3, but you can see they came right through the Dolphin line. Dan knows what he's got to do. Takes a peek to the right, sees where the marker is, and then slides. Now, he'll be marked down where he slid, not where he wound up.
It's at the 44, but a big first down for Miami. And believe it or not, on the legs of Dan Marino. Now he'll go back to the arm. Throwing long and incomplete, overthrown, intended for Clayton. He and Hurst may have gotten a little tangled up at the corner and thrown the timing off. And Clayton and Hurst going at each other a little bit.
Hurst and Harry Colin talking too.
Illegal contact, number 42 defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that was on the other side of the field completely. Ronnie Lepet called for the contact.
He throws it down here. Watch what happens up top real quick. See the contact? You can't. Where'd he hit him? I don't know. I didn't see any contact.
Sure wasn't much, but it's a first down for the Dolphins at their own 49. Come on the blitz, and Marino tries to get it to Clayton, and he couldn't hold on. They'll come back to the huddle, and Marino's going to say, I can only throw it, boys. I can't catch it, too.
This has been, the second half has been the story of the Dolphins season so far this year. The first half, they thought they were back on track. There's the ball. It's right there. Again, he lets the ball get into his body. Here comes the bullet at you, right through his hands. Right through his hands, into his body for an incompletion.
2nd and 10. Smith. Room to run. All the way to the New England 41-yard line. Brought down by Jerome Henderson, the rookie out of Clemson. Boy, they cleaned house on the right side.
Excellent job on the right side, which is considered where the ball runs, the point of attack. You have to get it strong so that the guard and tackle from the offside can turn and lead the play.
Well, 2 of the biggest plays on this drive have been Marino's 11-yard run and that one from Sammy Smith. Clock winding down to 8.5 minutes. 3rd and short. Smith. Oh. Holy cow. Vincent Brown.
We didn't have to say his name.
Oh, look at McPherson.
Look at Matt. I don't believe they made it. It's 4th and 1. Don Shula's got to make a decision. His football team needs some kind of an emotional lift, and he's got to go for it. I don't think he has any choice.
What a rip by Vincent Brown.
There's number 59 in the middle. Nobody gets to him. He goes airborne. Sammy Smith goes airborne, and you know who wins?
Oh.
Vincent Brown.
And the Dolphins will go for it. 4th and a yard. Page looked like he got it. And they'll spot it just shy of the 40. If that's the final mark, it will be a first down. 8 times this year, the Dolphins have gone for it on 4th down. They have made it 6. That's a pretty good percentage. And that was the first time New England had allowed a 4th down run to work. They'll have to measure. You know how
they don't have to measure.
You know how smart they were. They didn't run where Vincent Brown was.
They went the other way. I think he got in the huddle, and Sammy said, listen, why don't you give it to Tony on the other side? I can't see straight yet.
They got it.
Here's the play from before. Sammy Smith goes airborne. Vincent Brown just loads and fires. I mean, that's a helmet-to-helmet. Hello, how are you? I'm here waiting for you shot.
And evidence that Sammy Smith is doing a better job of protecting the ball. If you don't cough it up on that one, you may never cough it up again. Play action. Marino with time, dumps it again to Page. And Page has about 9 yards. Vincent Brown had him around the knees. 7 catches for Page, 66 yards. So he has 34 catches on the year. Clock becoming a factor now. We're down to 6 minutes and 44 seconds on a time-consuming Miami drive in a tie game. And this drive has already gone 5-20 and 51 yards. You don't think of the Dolphins when ball control is mentioned, but this is it. Marino under pressure, dumped it, and this time threw it behind Page.
How often are you going to see Dan Marino take off twice in a ball? I mean, we've seen one big run already, Dan. And that time he's really caught in indecision. He sees Tony Page, right hand, look, Sammy Smith is there. He says, throw it to me. He says, no, let me dunk it to Tony. If you look out to the left, he's got all this running. He's going, I'm sorry. I am really sorry, guys.
Third down, a yard. Sammy Smith. Oh, guess who? And the same reaction from Don McPherson. And Sammy Smith is going to go back in the huddle saying, guys, you got to quit calling that play. I'm going to get killed.
I'll tell you what's interesting. Tony Page says that Vincent Brown is the best inside linebacker that he's played against all year. Watch him fill. Tony Page goes out to block. He just reads the hole. The offensive line creates a hole, but it's for Vincent Brown to run through, not Sammy Smith.
Stoyanovich comes on to try from 50. His long this year is 53. Officially, it will be 49 because it's marked just inside the stripe. Has the distance, but it's wide. The Patriots hang on to a 20-20 tie with 5.5 minutes left. Those two enormous hits that helped keep the score at 20-20. And Stoyanovich was wide from 49 yards. This from the goalpost cam. Would have been good from 60, but off target. And Dick McPherson has always said he's an optimist. There were 12 kids in the family, and he grew up during the Depression. He said you had to be an optimist or you'd never get any dinner.
He was number 11.
Russell tries to go outside. Has a couple. That's it. Cox was out there to make the tackle. Tomorrow's headlines are brought to you by Levi's. The Redskins romp and ripping, average 27 yards of completion. The Colts get off to Schneid. They win one. Bernie Kosar went 309 attempts without an interception. That's a record. Del Greco with 4 field goals to win for Houston. The Lions continue to suffer outdoors. L.A. wins at Mile High. 2nd and 9 for New England. 4:50 to go in the game. Play action. Complete to Russell. Dodges and ducks, gets another yard out of it up near the 40. Jeff Cross trailing the play, made the tackle.
He did something on that play that a lot of times you don't see a rookie do. The ball was underthrown. Instead of continuing to run and try and reach back and make the catch, he slowed down, made the catch, then tried to pick up some yards. It's a good play by him.
3rd and 3 coming up. They set in the eye. And Millen falls down. No pressure, gets up, dumps the pass, and it's dropped by Hunter. They would have had the first down. Holy cow.
He's been hitting the eye with the ball on a 3rd down. Here he is. He just gets caught coming out. The center steps on his foot. He can't get out, but he has the presence of mind to get up. He's looking to run, and he looks downfield, sees Ivy Joe, manages somehow to get the ball under Griggs' arm, and doesn't come up with the completion.
The first incomplete pass he's had since the 2nd quarter. Scott Miller waits at the 18-yard line for the punt of Sean McCarthy. Returnable. Got to the sideline, driven out of bounds at the 27-yard line. A return of 9 after a 43-yard punt, and Dan Marino will have 3:42. Patriots and the Dolphins tied at 20 at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. 3:42 left to go in this one. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, our entire ESPN crew with you. Glad you could join us on a Sunday night. Been a good ball game. And now it's up to Dan Marino from the Miami 27-yard line. 4-man rush, plenty of time. Page to the 40. Brought down by Harry Cullen. 8 catches, 79 yards for Page coming out of the backfield tonight. Our thanks to Captain Daniels and the crew for our great overhead shots from the Spirit of Akron, the world's largest blimp in operation today. And my thanks to the Goodyear people, because I was scheduled to take a ride and then on Friday, and we had to change the plans, and I couldn't do it. Next time, gentlemen, thank you. 1st and 10, 3:04 left in the game. Whistles, they'll stop the play. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
Mark Dennis, number 74, the right tackle, made the movement before the ball was snapped, so the Dolphins are going to wind up with 1st and 15.
Number 74, offense, before the snap, 5 yards, 1st down.
Dennis, an excellent pass blocker at that right tackle spot. Don Shula, 302 career wins. An exceptional coach he has been over the years. The expression never seems to change. The purpose never seems to change. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago? They said the game had passed him by.
Yeah,
how silly.
He just keeps catching up with it.
Yeah, that's right. 2:59 to go. 1st and 15 for Miami. Wide open Beatty to the 40. A gain of 25. Jerome Henderson had to make the tackle. You are not supposed to be that wide open.
Well, what happens is Tony Page has caught so many passes. He comes out and swings underneath. The linebacker just gets caught up, and Beatty winds up in the middle of the field. Look at him. He just sits down in the middle, and there is nobody there. There's supposed to be a linebacker there. Breaks the tackle to Tim Gordon and was brought down at the 40.
2 minutes, 17 seconds to go. Marino has done this so many times before, driving his team down the field late in the 4th quarter to win one. Rifle complete to Clayton at the 30. They are well within the range of Pete Stoyanovich as we reach the 2-minute warning. Tied at 20, New England and Miami. It may come down to Pete Stoyanovich warming up on the sideline. He has connected from 21, missed from 49. Also hit from 43, and the Patriot bench.
Well, you know what's going through their minds. How many times this year have we played so well and come so close and had one play here or one play there cost us an opportunity to win?
They feel they could easily have a winning record coming into this game. But they also feel that just playing well and losing isn't good enough anymore, not after the start that they got off to. And the Dolphins, in the 2-minute drill, one of the best in the NFL. 5 touchdowns and a field goal out of 6 possessions. And guess the reason. It's number 13, the 9-year man out of Pitt. 2 minutes to go. 1st and 10 Miami at the New England 30. Smith. New England strung it out beautifully, and Tippett drags him out of bounds. Great play by Tippett, not only to make the tackle, but to get the runner out of bounds and stop the clock so you don't burn a timeout.
Andre Tippett playing very, very... Watch him string this out. If Beatty tries to block him, and he just stays in front, holds the outside position, The safety comes up to take on Tony Page, but now he's not done, see? But Mike, you're absolutely right with that, Michael. Very, very important. That way, New England doesn't have to burn the timeout. Actually, I think misuse of timeouts and people not getting out of bounds cost Denver the game earlier tonight.
Seen a lot of that this year. 2nd and 12. Marino with time. Clayton, touchdown. For the 2nd time tonight, David Poole victimized by Clayton and Marino.
There's Poole trying to cover him. Little shake move. Clayton just goes up top. Now, we've seen Dan Marino fire the ball and fire the ball. There was a case of just some beautiful touch, laying it over the defensive man's head.
He has just passed Stanley Morgan for number 14 on the NFL's all-time list. Stoyanovich to make it a touchdown lead again, and does. With 1:47 left, Miami has scored to lead New England 27-20. And they made it look easy, Joe.
They really did. You know, Clayton is so quick off the ball. He's one of those smaller receivers. Watch this. There's no help back here. He shakes right there, goes right by Poole. Marino just lays it up. He has no help, gets in bad footwork position. You cannot take 3 steps backwards with your shoulders square to the wide receiver and hope to stay with him.
Dick McPherson hoping to win his 4th game, now on the verge of losing his 7th. Miami to kick off. Marino hoping the defense can do the job. And now the pressure falls on 4th-year quarterback Hugh Millen and 1st-year coach Dick McPherson. John Vaughn, the deep man. 3 yards deep, he brings it out. Just shy of the 20-yard line. Good job by Chris Green on special teams. The drive took less than 2 minutes. Clayton from 32 yards.
And the interesting thing about that defensive setup is Ronnie LePet plays the left corner. But on 2nd down, they've only asked David Poole to learn how to play 1 down. And that's 2nd down.
New England has all 3 timeouts left.
Plenty of time. You just got to be cool. Take what the defense gives you. Get yourself into a position where you can make some throws in the end zone.
But only once this year have they scored on a 2-minute drive. They need the 2nd one desperately. Millen throws in the flat. Not much there. Gain of about 5. Fryer being held down over there by Bestie Jackson. Didn't want to let him up. Burning time off the clock. 2nd and 6. And Millen throws off the hands of Marv Cook that time.
That's okay. That's not a real problem. Actually, if he would have gotten tackled and just got the 1st down, Millen would have probably lost 10 seconds running up and throwing the ball in the ground, coming up with 2nd down again anyway. So now he's still got at least 2 downs. It's only 3rd and 5.
Patriots have all 3 timeouts left. Millen had a great comeback drive against Houston to beat the Oilers. Tries for Cook, and it was knocked away at the last moment by Bobby Harden. Now it will be 4th and 5.
That's Bobby Harden's job, just like we talked about David Poole coming in on 2nd down. Bobby Harden is assigned to Marv Cook. He's got to cover him. Does a good, stays with him all the way.
Oh, great defense.
Millen is just trying to look.
Think he's a little emotional?
Wanted the pass interference call, didn't get it.
He just had a birthday. He needs a present now. 4th and 5. Millen throws back to Russell. No chance. All over it was Chris Green.
Well, I take your hat off to Tom Olivadotti and that entire defensive unit. Millen had absolutely nowhere to go down the field. They got the 1 short completion. Then they tried to go to Marv Cook on a couple of occasions, couldn't get it to him. There's Tom Olivadotti from the goalpost cam. Millen, you see what he sees. Lots of zones. Nowhere in the middle of the field does he have anybody open. Greg McMurtry winds up coming open late inside, but he sees John Stevens and just manages to get him the football.
Now the situation is this. New England still with all 3 timeouts, and Miami will use as much time as they can and then hope that Stoyanovich can put the game out of reach. And Marino finally goes down to 1 knee. Well, Marino really exposing himself in that situation. Somebody can come through and get a lick at him.
Well, no, because not really, Mike. I'll tell you why. What happens is he only will go. The clock will stop when he goes down. Of course, this guy here, he wishes he had the 57 seconds to work with. Marino's trying to play with it on the other side. What happens is, as long as he's standing up, the clock's going to continue to run. He sees everybody in front of him, and that's normally where they come up and touch him. He tells the guys, protect my backside. I'll stand here. When they get close, I'll kneel down. Burn 5 seconds, burn 5 seconds.
Let me ask you about the other point. Backing up like that, you're losing ground. If you do want to kick the field goal, you are now taking Stoyanovich maybe out of range.
Nah.
Okay. Sports Center follows our telecast, and we'll bring you up to date with Bob Lee and Dan Patrick on everything that's going on. And then NFL Prime Time, Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Robin Roberts. And Dan Marino will be the special guest. Conversation with him following our broadcast. 2nd and 14, 57 seconds to go. Marino goes back to kill it again. Gets a little tap from Vincent Brown.
That time, he said, well, let me look at these goalposts. They look too far away. Let me step up here.
And New England will use its second timeout with 50 seconds left.
The reason why the Dolphins are in the situation they're in, controlling the clock, wanting to take some time off, because Dan Marino on the right part of your screen, he gets David Poole one-on-one with Mark Clayton, and Mark Clayton wins the battle. I mean, I'll bet you Marino could not believe it when he saw it. That wasn't even a hard throw. David Poole was beat right at the line of scrimmage. He was squared up on Clayton. Clayton gave him a little shake to freeze him and went up the outside.
The standings, Miami on the verge of tying the Jets for second in the AFC East at 5-5, and hopefully for them on their way to a playoff chase at least. The remaining games for the Dolphins, they face Buffalo and Chicago the next 2 weeks, then Tampa Bay here in Miami. And Dan Marino told you he thought they really needed to finish strong.
They needed to finish strong. You saw the remaining ones in December. They felt like these next 3 were so very important.
Now they try to run with Sammy Smith instead of kneeling down. New England will use the final timeout, and from here it would be about a 50-yard field goal attempt for Stoyanovich.
Well, the problem with this is if he misses it, remember, New England gets possession on the 32. And all you have to do is call up the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers and talk about this, the Big Ben or the Hail Mary pass.
So do you punt?
Yeah, I think you punt. But obviously, I'm not the coach of the Dolphins, so you try a field goal.
Well, this is the reason I brought up losing so much ground kneeling down. You have now taken Stoyanovich back to about 50 yards.
I don't agree with this. I do not agree with this particular call. The Patriots have no timeouts. If you punt them back, just a little pooch punt, down inside their own 10-yard line, I don't believe they have a chance.
Of course, if you make it, it's over.
Of course, if they block it, we're in overtime.
Wide left. There is a flag down, and it will be roughing the kicker.
How many of those have you seen called?
Not many.
No, they just, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Number 42, running into the kicker. That's a 5-yard penalty, not an automatic first down.
Even though
Still
it is not an
down.
automatic first down, it took time off the clock, and Stoyanovich will get another shot at it. Ronnie Lopette called for running into the kicker.
Should come from the left side of your screen. There's the kick made. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Come on. Oh, come on. That's running into, that's a great job of acting. Stoyanovich ought to get an Academy Award for that.
I get hit that hard decorating the Christmas
I'll tell you,
tree.
that is a bad call. That is a bad call.
Stoyanovich with another shot. And he's got this one. And that's why Dick McPherson was so outraged and came out on the field. It looked like Lopette barely touched Stoyanovich. but it is not reviewable, and nobody is going to change it.
You know, it's one thing running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. The rule is there to protect him. Watch the right-hand side of defense. Lepet gets pushed. He gets pushed into the kicker, and they throw him. That's a horrible call by the official. Not that New England would have had a chance to win this game, but to have something like that go against them just isn't right. They would have had the ball back. They would have had the ball at the 33-yard line with about 40 seconds to go. And who knows? I mean, like I said, you call the Atlanta Falcons. That's a bad call.
And as many times as officials have told us, if a player is pushed by a blocker, we're not going to call it.
And then, see, again, tell me about instant replay. Why shouldn't a bad call... I know, but I'm saying, why shouldn't something like that determines the outcome of a football game not be able to be reviewed by instant replay when it's obvious that it was a judgment call that was an error?
Well,
The hometown Dolphins, they needed this game to get back to the 500 mark and set the stage for a run at a wild card berth. Chris Berman has the story. This AFC East Major Ticket.
Sunday Night Football on ESPN. 6 years ago, in '85, the Dolphins hosted the Patriots in the AFC Championship game for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Things have changed. Patriots just trying to get respectable. Dolphins want to get in the playoff hunt, get to 5-5, back to 500. Here's what happened at Joe Robbie Stadium as we take a look at the action. Hugh Millen. Well, he's got his watch straight, but doesn't have the snap straight this time. Dan Marino snapped out of a slump to Mark Clayton. Beats David Bullis to touchdown. The Dolphins lead at 76 at the half. Fourth quarter, the Patriots come back. Cliff Odom tips it into the hands of starving Marvin Cook. Millen for the touchdown. Dick McPherson's club is tied at 20 all. Late in the fourth quarter, minutes to go. Under 2 minutes to go. Marino, the pass to Clayton. He beats Poole again. Jumps him in the pool. 32-yard touchdown. Dick McPherson wears his emotion on his sleeve and his nice camel hair coat. But it was the Miami Dolphins 30 and the New England Patriots 20 in Sunday Night Football on ESPN. Joe Theismann, of course, called the game with Mike Patrick here on ESPN. And Joe, pretty good game for the M&M guys. You expect Dan Marino to play well. Millen also played well.
He really did, Chris. You know, if you look at the statistics of these two quarterbacks, it's sort of hard to tell which one won and which one didn't. Dan Marino came out and did the things he had to do by throwing the football up the field, threw for 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But Hugh Millen, who's really trying to win that quarterback position for New England, 20 for 26, 257 yards. He just had the unfortunate accident of when he took the snap from center in the fourth quarter, fell down, still tried to make a play, but couldn't come up with it.
Joe, obviously the Dolphins, a far cry from the team they were last year, 12-4, won a playoff game with the Chiefs, went into Buffalo and played tough. They're 5-5 now. They're in the hunt. Are they really in the hunt, or does it just look good now?
Well, Chris, first of all, I think it looks good now, but we won't know that except for 2 more weeks. They play Buffalo next week on Monday night. Then they go to Chicago to play the Bears. In the next 2 weeks, we will know whether or not the Dolphins are for real and are really going to make a run at a playoff spot.
All right, Joe, we know one team that is for real, the Houston Oilers. You get to see them next week. We'll join you then.
The run and shoot, we're on our way.
There you go.
Also, most professional athletes receive special treatment wherever they go, but so much freedom can prove costly.
And a little bit later on, we'll be hearing from some former athletes who talk about the modern-day athlete's cavalier and rewards of sports celebrities, especially the availability of easy sex, were tolerated and ignored by a public that measured its heroes by a separate standard. The athletic community, even less concerned. Who cares, they said, as long as...
Voted just to him in this game, the best-ever regulation playoff game, 421 yards, 4 TDs against the Steelers some 7 years ago. Dolphins went to the Super Bowl that season. They have not been back since, and the urge for the return trip burns deep within Dan Marino, the master of the comeback.